Welcome to the SharedWork orientation video. Your role as an employer representative is vital while you and your employees are participating in the SharedWork program. The Employment Security Department's SharedWork program sent you a welcome email after being approved for SharedWork. The email contains your SharedWork plan start and end dates, forms for managing your SharedWork plan, employee forms, and helpful guides for managing their unemployment claims, as well as contact information for SharedWork. Shown on screen is an example of the SharedWork welcome email showing the forms we mentioned. We will go over the forms in detail later. This video will show you how to manage the SharedWork plan and how your employees need to manage their unemployment claims. First, let's review your responsibilities as the company's SharedWork representative. Your responsibilities include advising your employees to apply for unemployment benefits, serving as the liaison between your employees and the SharedWork staff, answering your employees' questions about SharedWork and their unemployment claims, reviewing payment reports and submitting weekly claim correction forms, and submitting forms to add or remove participants as needed. Your employees need to apply for unemployment benefits after the SharedWork plan is approved, or restart their claim if they already have an active claim, file their weekly claims, and meet all SharedWork unemployment requirements each week they claim benefits. It's best that your employees apply for benefits or restart their claims during the first week that hours are reduced. Unemployment claims are started or restarted the week the claimant contacts us. An unemployment claim can be backdated up to 2 weeks. Keep in mind, if the backdate request is for weeks prior to the start date of your SharedWork plan, they must be required to meet regular unemployment requirements, such as completing 3 approved job search activities for each of those weeks. It's important that employees do not delay in starting or restarting their claims, as this could result in non-payment of weeks. To help your employees manage their unemployment claims, we attached a SharedWork employee guide to your welcome email. Please distribute this guide to all employees participating in your SharedWork plan. Shown on screen is a sample first page of the employee guide with a checklist showing the documents included in the packet. Employees can apply for benefits online through their eServices account by selecting Apply for Benefits near the top of the screen, by calling SharedWork at 800-752-2500, option 1, or by submitting a paper application. Shown is an example of the screen in eServices. Highlighted with an orange box and an arrow is a link that says Apply for Benefits. If an employee already has a claim opened within the past year but has not claimed any benefits within the last 5 weeks, they can restart their claim by selecting the claim in eServices, then selecting Restart My Claim to begin filing again in the section labeled I Want to, or they can call and speak to a SharedWork agent. Shown is an example of the screen in eServices. Highlighted with an orange box is a link that says Restart My Claim to begin filing again. If an employee is submitting a paper application form, it is very important for the SharedWork employer representative, you, to make sure all documents are complete and accurate to avoid potential delays in payment. After an employee applies for unemployment benefits, they are sent an unemployment claim determination, which shows the start date, end date, weekly benefit amount, and the maximum benefits payable for their claim. Employees need to be aware that their unemployment claim is available for 52 weeks. The weekly benefit amount is calculated using the employee's base year wages. The base year is usually the first 4 of the last 5 completed quarters. If your employees have questions about their weekly benefit amount, they can find more information at esd.wa.gov by searching Calculate Your Benefit. The start and end dates for an employee's claim may vary from your SharedWork plan dates. Employees need to file weekly claims after each week has ended. An unemployment claim week is always Sunday through Saturday, regardless of your company's work week. When employees submit their weekly claims, they are claiming for the week that ended the previous Saturday at 11:59 p.m. In the example shown, an employee is filing their weekly claim on Sunday, July 27th. The claim is for the week ending Saturday, July 26th. Shown on screen is a calendar showing the months of July and August. The week of Sunday, July 20th through Saturday, July 26th is outlined in orange, with July 26th and July 27th outlined in blue. Text box pointing to July 26th says weeks start Sunday at 12 a.m. and end Saturday at 11:59 p.m. Text box pointing to Sunday, July 27th says weekly claims can be filed starting on Sunday, 12 a.m. for the prior week. Employees can file their weekly claims online through eServices, by phone through the automated phone system, or by calling SharedWork and speaking with an agent, or by submitting a paper claim form. We highly recommend that employees file their claims either by submitting them online through their eServices account or by calling the automated phone line shown on the screen. If your employees stop making weekly claims and want to start again, they need to restart their claim in eServices or by calling SharedWork during the week they want to start claiming again. For weekly claim assistance, employees can refer to the employee guide that is attached to your welcome email. The first week an employee files a claim and is eligible for payment is their waiting week. They are not paid for their waiting week. In many cases, this is the first week that hours are reduced. There is only one waiting week for each benefit year. If a claimant already has an active claim, they may have already completed their waiting week. After the waiting week, employees will be paid each week they claim and are eligible. To receive benefits, employees need to be able and available to work all scheduled hours. There are two exceptions to this requirement. First, if employees are paid for all scheduled hours, whether they worked or not, they are considered available for work. For example, if an employee was scheduled for 32 hours during a week, but they only worked 20 hours and are paid 12 hours of PTO to cover the time off, they would be considered available for work since they were paid for all scheduled hours. If they were scheduled for 32 hours, worked 20 hours, and had 12 hours of unpaid time off, they were considered not available for work for the unpaid time and must report this on their weekly claim. In this case, the employee would answer no when asked on their weekly claim, were you physically able and available to work all hours scheduled by your SharedWork employer? Second, the law states that employees are not required to accept an offer of additional work outside their scheduled hours if they are not given at least 24 hours notice. Shown on screen is an example of the online weekly claim form in eServices with the question asking about availability. Employees can choose to get paid by a debit card or through direct deposit. A debit card is the default method of payment. The debit card is mailed to the claimant at the time they open their claim. For direct deposit, employees must have an eServices account to sign up. Step-by-step instructions are provided in your welcome email and on our website at esd.wa.gov. Claimants must sign up for direct deposit online. SharedWork and Claim Center agents cannot set up a claimant's direct deposit and do not have access to their banking information. Please remind your employees that SharedWork benefits are not meant to completely compensate for reduced hours. Instead, they're paid to lessen the impact of reduced hours. A SharedWork benefit is paid when there is 10 to 50% reduction in the employee's usual hours. Employees need to report hours and gross earnings from their SharedWork employer as well as second jobs, plus hours and net earnings from any self-employment. We first calculate benefits using the SharedWork calculation chart shown on screen. You'll find the link to the full SharedWork calculation chart in your welcome email. This chart is used when an employee's total hours worked are within their SharedWork hours range. For a 40-hour per week employee, the shared work hours range is between 20 and 36 hours. When they are within that range, they are paid the percentage that corresponds with the number of hours they work that week. If they work less than 20 hours or 37 or more hours, their calculation is based on regular unemployment, which we will cover in the next slide. Let's look at a specific example of a 40-hour per week employee who worked 32 hours, which is within their shared work hours range. Find the 40 hours box that represents the employee's usual weekly hours prior to the reduction. In the hours column, find the employee's actual hours worked during the week in question. In this case, the 32 hours box. Use the corresponding number in the benefit percentage column to calculate the percentage of the employee's weekly benefit amount they will receive. In this example, the employee will receive 20% of their weekly benefit amount. If their weekly benefit amount is $800, they would receive a $160 payment. Shown on screen is a portion of the shared work payment calculation chart. Under the column 40 hours, the row for 32 hours is outlined in orange with an orange arrow pointing to it. When an employee's hours are under or over their shared work hours range, or they were not available for all scheduled hours, we use the earnings deduction chart, which is shown on the screen. You will find the link to the full earnings deduction chart in your welcome email. So, if a 40-hour per week employee works less than 20 hours, or 37 or more hours, their weekly benefit amount is calculated using regular unemployment for that week. Let's look at a specific example of a 40-hour per week employee who grossed $218 and worked 7 hours, which is outside their shared work hours range. Find the range that the gross earnings for the week are between on the deduction chart. Then take the amount in the We Will Deduct column and subtract it from the weekly benefit amount. In this example, the weekly benefit amount is $800, so we would subtract the $160, which would result in a $640 payment for the week. On screen is a portion of the earnings deduction chart. The row for earnings ranging from $217.01 to $218.33 is outlined in orange with an orange arrow pointing to it. When an employee applies for unemployment benefits, the employer typically receives a request for separation information. This is an automated letter that notifies the employer when employees apply for or restart their unemployment claims. During the claim process, employees are asked why they are separated from work. If the employee reported that they were fired or they quit, please complete and return the form. If any other reason is listed, you do not need to return the form unless you disagree with something or want to provide additional information. Please disregard any questions regarding standby. Shown on screen is a portion of a request for separation information letter with an orange box and arrow outlining the claimant's separation reason. After at least one employee files a weekly claim, you will receive a payment report. Reviewing payment reports is a required employer representative responsibility. These reports contain details of what the employees reported on their weekly claims. Payment reports are posted to your organization's eServices account and are sent to you by U.S. Mail weekly. When reviewing the payment report, compare what employees reported on their weekly claims with the employer's payroll records. A sample payment report is shown here on screen. First, you'll see the names of the employees and the last 4 digits of their Social Security numbers. Next, week paid is the week ending date of the claim that was submitted. It is always a Saturday date. You may see an employee's name listed several times. This means that several weeks were processed at one time during the prior week. Hours worked is the number of hours the employee reported that they worked that week. SVH hours is the number of paid sick, vacation, or holiday hours reported by the employee for the week. Earnings is the gross earnings reported by the employee for the week, which includes both hours worked as well as sick, vacation, and holiday pay. Amount paid is the unemployment payment amount issued for that week. Avail shows if the employee reported that they were able and available for all scheduled hours, and SW payment shows if they received the shared work benefit for that week. Shown on screen is a portion of a sample payment report. The columns being described are circled in orange. We sent you 3 forms in your welcome email to help you manage your shared work plan. The first form is the weekly claim correction form. If you find a discrepancy between your records and any items listed on the payment report, you are required to submit a correction form within 10 days of receiving the payment report. This is important because we may have paid them improperly. Prior to submitting a correction form, make sure the full Social Security number is included. Week ending date is always a Saturday. The sum of columns in Section 2 equals the total in Section 3 for each row. You have signed the form. The employee had the opportunity to review the changes, mark if they agree or disagree, and sign the form. You can still submit the form without their signature, but it may set an issue on the claim. Use the correction form only to report inaccuracies on the weekly claim. Do not use the correction form to add employees to your shared work plan. Shown on screen is an example of the weekly claim correction form. Circled in orange are sections 2 and 3, showing the hours worked, net pay, and totals. Use the correction form to report if your employees are not able or available to work for a specific week or weeks. If they took unpaid time off for any scheduled hours, this needs to be reported in the Leave Without Pay section. As a reminder, if employees took time off but were paid for all scheduled hours, we consider them available for work. Also, please remember that employees are not required to be available for additional work if it's offered less than 24 hours in advance. Shown on screen is an example of the weekly claim correction form. Section 4 is circled in orange, showing the Leave Without Pay columns. The Employee Add form is submitted when you want to add more employees to your existing shared work plan. It's important that all fields are completed or the form cannot be processed. If there is no associated union, leave that column blank. New hires can be added to your plan after they have completed at least 1 week of work. If they have worked only 1 week, then their usual hours worked is the number of hours they worked that 1 week. If you want the new hire on your plan as a 40-hour per week employee, they will need to have worked 40 hours in at least 1 week. Employees are added starting the week you submit the form. We cannot add an employee retroactively. Use the Employee Add form to only add employees to your current shared work plan. Do not include employees on this form that are already on the plan. Do not use any other form for this. If you need more copies of the Employee Add form, you can download a copy at sharedworkwa.com. Shown on screen is a portion of the Employee Add form. Use the Participant Removal form to remove participants from your shared work plan. This includes people who are no longer working for your company, employees who no longer want to participate in shared work, or if you no longer want an employee on your shared work plan. Remember, all fields must be completed or the form cannot be processed. As with other forms, you are required by law to return this completed form within 10 days of any changes. Use this form only to remove participants. Do not use this form to add participants or correct weekly claims. Shown on screen is a portion of the Participant Removal form. All employers who participate in the Shared Work program have legal requirements and responsibilities. These include reporting a change in the company ESD number, reporting a pending sale or transfer of the company, reporting a change in the designated employer representative, reviewing the information on the payment report and notifying Shared Work of any discrepancies by submitting weekly claim correction forms, and maintaining employee benefits while participating in the program. As the employer representative, you need to proactively share information about your shared work plan with your employees and distribute the employee guide in the welcome email. Review your payment reports each week, submit correction forms within 10 days, use the provided forms to add or remove employees, and Follow all compliance requirements. Your employees need to apply for benefits or restart their unemployment claims, file their own weekly claims, and be able to work and available for work for all scheduled hours. Find this information and more at sharedworkwa.com. Employees may find more information regarding their unemployment benefits at esd.wa.gov. Thank you for taking the time to understand your role in your Shared Work program. Employment Security looks forward to working with you. The Employment Security Department is an equal opportunity employer and program. Auxiliary aids and services are available upon request to individuals with disabilities. Email esdgpui@coms@esd.wa.gov or call 844-395-6698. Language help is free. For Spanish, call 800-318-6022. For other languages, call 800-410-0758. If you have a hearing or speech disability, dial 711 for the Washington Relay.